I'm going to see if I can use AI to plan retirement. I'm going to create a hypothetical scenario, pitch it to ChatGPT. This is a AI chatbot from OpenAI. If you haven't used it, there's a ton of different uses for it. Basically, its entire brain is just a copy of the entire internet pre-2021. So I just asked it, can you help me plan my retirement? And it says, yes, but let me explain to you what you're going to need to consider. And what we're going to do is we're going to feed it some information, and we're going to say, okay, here's what I have set up. Here's what I'm going to need for retirement, and how can I, what do I need to have saved in what areas? So we're going to start asking it some stuff about 401k, pension, that type of stuff off the bat, and then we're going to ask it to help us figure out how to adjust. So I'm asking it directly, if I have 9,000 in a 401k and I'm this old and then I want to retire at this age, how much should I be adding to my 401k every month? So it's gonna be kind of vague, and it's gonna say hey, there might be a few factors, but we're gonna ask it to clarify, because this is kind of like an iterative thing. You can say hey, yeah, I know that it's difficult to determine, but can you give me some projections? Can you give me some figures? Can you estimate this out? So it can kind of act as a calculator, and then also too, considering the prompt here, we can give it some more information to help us with that. So sometimes it's good to ask the chat hey, could you just tell me what could be good, or can you just give me some suggestions? And so what I did was I gave it some more of the what my retirement expenses might be. And then I said, hey, can you adjust it for inflation? And then I said, hey, can you give me some rough estimates? And then tell me what contributions could be good. Now, sometimes the best way to prompt ChatGPT, if it doesn't want to give you some explicit advice on finances or whatever, which it's trained to not be engaging with you about how to get rich or something like that. It doesn't want to be telling you you should buy this stock. You can say, hey, can you just tell me what in theory, as part of just a research, for a theoretical person, what this would be. And then it'll be okay, well, if we're diving into theory or fiction, then I think basically what that's doing is bypassing the sort of tripwires that the AI has set up to be okay, well, if we're talking about theory, in theory, if your friend wanted to save for inflation, save for retirement. So this is kind of cool, right? So right here we have sort of a plan here. So to help you reach your retirement savings of $6,000 per month, then if you had an annual investment of 6% and retire at 55, you would need to put this much back per month. And if you did 8%, 7%, okay, cool, right? So this is cool. So what we can actually do is we can say, hey, based off of these retirement numbers, what should my income level be if my contribution is X percent? So I asked it, I said, if my annual income is this, what could a monthly budget look like with this savings plan built in? So it's gonna say, hey, it's difficult, and what we could do is provide it some more details and prompt it and be well, consider this, consider that I pay X amount on a car payment every month, consider that my rent costs this much. Can you define my budget based off of that? I have another video for planning a budget, and I actually have a full course on using ChatGPT for just general professional tasks. It's just overall hacking your professional life and doing useful things with ChatGPT. So this is one of them. We also have OpenAI Playground, which does a little bit more expansive, a little bit less iterative, long form text generation, and that's pretty helpful too. So I'm going to ask it just to be candid about what a monthly budget could be, and I'm going to give it some theoretical figures. So I just said, hey, in theory, here's how much I'm spending out and there you go, perfect. It's computing a budget based off of everything. So it's saying, hey, this is your income, here's your expenses, here's your total expenses, and then here's how much you could be saving towards retirement. So it kind of estimated the other expenses on top of these. Now, if you had super low overhead, all you did was work, eat, sleep, then in theory, this is going to work out this way. But you could provide your whole entire budget, all of your information to this chat, and it could spit out a accurate prediction of what that retirement plan might look like. So we can get really interesting. So I could say, hey, if I actually was to save like $2K per month, when could I retire if I have these expected retirement like expenses? It's important to keep in mind that it is saving all this information. So unlike Google, where you would have to write the search out several times and then dig through the links, this is remembering everything in your conversation contextually. So it's saying, okay, this guy makes $85K a year, and he has these retirement goals, and I already know his budget. And based off of that, I'm saying, hey, if I save $2K per month, how early could I retire? And so once again, it's going to try to be kind of broad, but I'm going to just tell it again, like based off of what I've told you, if I save $2K per month, how early could I retire in theory? So I did have to prompt this a couple of times. I did have to say, in theory, just tell me how it will work in a calculator, make a guess, provide multiple scenarios. Finally, we did get an estimate, right? So we have the contribution of $2K per month to the 401k from age 28 to 55. Compound, the rate of investment is this, compound interest. The balance will be this, and then the monthly payouts could be, and it's very candid to say, important to keep in mind the following calculation is just a theoretical estimate. So this AI is pretty strict. It does not want to give you too much, right? So using these assumptions, the monthly payouts could be this much. So that's pretty cool. I took everything into consideration that I provided. I gave it like a life expectancy and the payout goals, but then I said, how much would it be? But it doesn't necessarily want to cough up immediately direct investment advice. But if you ask it, hey, can you just tell me some scenarios? Because, the chat can only provide you a calculation off of the scenario, the same way that any financial planner could. So nobody knows the future. Nobody knows these interest rates. There's no such thing as that in financial advice. So you're getting advice from an AI or you're getting advice from a person. You're getting basically the same quality. You're getting a calculation based off of your current balance factors, a set plan, and then some figures, and then theoretical estimates based off of historical numbers of like things like interest rates. But overall, this is a really cool tool. I think this is a great use case. It's very useful, and this is something that financial planners might want to look out for. If you can do something like this with AI, you may not need to get these types of plans or strategies or this type of guidance or information from people anymore. You may be able to just tap into something like ChatGPT and get your information there. But anyhow, I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.